Hi, this is Terry Grover from Terry Grover Computer Consulting in Portland, Maine. Today I want to give you a little bit of a tour of Word for Windows 2010. If you're a Mac user, you might be using Word for Mac 2011. There are some differences between the Mac and the Windows versions, and I'll try to point them out as we go along. But most of the features work just fine on both of them, and I highly recommend both of these programs. If you're still using Word 2003 or Word for Mac 2004, there's a huge difference, and it's really worth upgrading. Okay, here we are in Microsoft Word, and I'm just going to click File at the top and New, and I'm simply going to create a brand new blank document here. The first thing I want to show you is the fact that in Word for Windows, there are no menus at the top. Notice how you've got tabs: Home, Insert, Page Layout, etc. Each one of these comes with a ribbon that goes back and forth. The old menus that had drop-down lists are now set across here like this so that you can see much better what choices you have. Now, in the Mac version, you still do have some of the menus on top, but you also will have some of these ribbons. So do take a look at it to see where things are located. Now, a couple of things I'd like to show you. First of all, I'm going to type a paragraph here. Let me see. This is a new paragraph. I want to show you some of the really cool things you can do in Word 2010 or 2011 if you're a Mac user. There are some great new features. Okay, the only reason I did this was to have some text to work with. The first thing I want you to know is that in Word, as in any other programs, most other programs, if you want to change text, for example, make it a different font, a different size, a different color, or anything else, first you need to select the text that you want to change. So let's say I wanted to select, let me see, the word cool. One of the shortcuts, and this is for you beginners and also for you more intermediate and advanced users who may not know these things. I know we all think we know everything, but maybe we don't. If you click 2 times in the middle of a word, you will always select an entire word. So on the word cool, I'm simply going to click twice, 1, 2, and there's the word cool. Word knows that that is a word because there's a space after it. Now in Word for Windows, do you see this little menu that shows up? I can bold it right from here. I can even change the color. And here you notice that as I'm putting my cursor over the colors without clicking, it is changing color so I can see what it's going to look like. Now here's one of the big differences between Word for Windows and Word for Mac. Word for Mac does not have that little menu that comes up, but that's all right because once you select a word, you can go up here to the top and do the same thing. You're going to see in the ribbon for Word for Mac all of these different things that you can use to change the way your text looks. The other thing in Word for Mac you're going to notice, and I'm going to demonstrate by going to Word 2010, click, drag all the way across, and I'll get 2 words. Do you see? What I would like to do here is I would like to change the font. Now if I go up here to font, notice how when I start going through the font, the word Word 2010 is actually changing. In a Mac, that will not happen. You will need to click on each one and see what it looks like. But in the Windows version, you can actually see them as they go along. That's kind of fun. Now what I'm going to do here is I want to show different effects. So I'm going to select it again, and I'm going to change the size. So again, I can see what size I'd like to have and choose one. My favorite effect here is this text effects button. This is available both on the Mac and the Windows version. Click here and you can choose some really cool effects. Do you see what I'm doing here? Just running it over and finding some neat things. I'm going to choose this one. But the other thing I can do is fine-tune this. So I'm going to click here and say I want to change the color of my outline. Do you see what's happening? The outline color is actually changing. I'm going to go click that one. And then I can even go back and change the shadow. In the shadow, I can do kind of a plain looking shadow like this, or I can go to more inner ones, or a perspective. Do you see what's happening here? It's actually putting a shadow behind it. So I'm going to click on that one. That's kind of neat. I can go back and choose reflections. So I could have a reflection in the front of the word. Do you see what I did there? And even glow. Glow is really cool. Do you see what it does? It puts a really neat glow. This is really fun stuff, and you can have a good time with this. So that's one of the things I can do. The other thing I'd like to show you is that if I'm here, let's say, let me see, I want to show you some of the real cool things. What if I wanted to say I want to show you one of the really cool things? So I'm going to one cool thing, okay. I want to show you, I'm going to double click, and then I can replace that with one. I'm going to show you one of the really cool things you can do in Word. What if I wanted to add something at the end? Let me see. There are some great news features to see. What if I did by mistake C2 and I did it in the wrong order? All I have to do to change that is simply double click and select the word C, go into it and click down, hold my mouse and pull it over, and it simply will click and drag it to the place I want. The other thing you should know is, you see how I'm in the middle of the word? What if I needed to go toward the beginning of this word? I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard to just go back or forward and stick in extra letters or delete letters as well. The other thing I can do, let's say I want to go to the end of the sentence. On your keyboard, take a look. There is a key that says end. Press it and you're going to go to the end of a line. There is a key that says home. Press that key and you're going to go to the beginning of the line. So those are just some of the neat things in Word. There are many more, so stay tuned for some more tours of Word. Thanks so much.